Washington Healthcare Authority warns of layoffs amid budget shortfalls. The Washington Healthcare Authority is facing significant challenges that might lead to layoffs, putting employees on edge regarding their job security. This dire situation stems from persistent funding issues, prompting the agency's leadership to communicate necessary job reductions to its staff this week. However, specifics regarding the number of positions that may be eliminated remain undisclosed. In an email sent on Wednesday, MaryAnne Lindeblad, the interim director of the Healthcare Authority, made it clear that while she wishes the circumstances were different, layoffs are unfortunately part of the agency's future strategy. Despite extensive efforts to balance the budget, she stated, "We've reached a point where workforce reductions will be necessary." Lindeblad emphasized that these decisions are not a reflection on the employee's performance, but rather the reality of the agency's fiscal shortcomings. This agency, which oversees the coordination and purchasing of healthcare services for approximately 2.7 million residents, including critical behavioral health treatment, currently employs around 1,900 individuals. The Washington Healthcare Authority administers the state's Medicaid program, known as Apple Health, along with health benefits for public and school employees. According to recent data, over 1.9 million Washington residents, including more than 850,000 children, are enrolled in Apple Health. Governor Bob Ferguson recently appointed Ryan Moran from Maryland, who was serving as the Deputy Health Secretary, to lead the Healthcare Authority. Moran will officially start in his role on August 18th. However, questions remain as to whether he had input on the notification about potential layoffs that Lindeblad sent out. Additionally, it is unclear whether these anticipated job cuts stem from reductions in state budget allocations or are a response to new federal Medicaid funding regulations. Katie Pope, the agency's Deputy Chief Communications Director, acknowledged the gravity of the situation, describing job reductions as deeply troubling for both employees and the communities they serve. She mentioned that the agency is working diligently to manage their resources effectively while still honoring their commitments to Washington residents. The sentiment among staff, as expressed by Mike Yastremski, president of the Washington Federation of State Employees, mirrors this concern. He noted that the union has not received the formal notification required for layoffs. Yet there's palpable anxiety among workers. They are left wondering how many will be impacted and whether those remaining will endure additional rounds of cuts in the future. Sadly, this is not an isolated case. In recent months, many state employees have faced job losses or have been pressured into lower-paying roles due to directives from the governor aimed at cutting costs and reduced funding in the state budget for certain programs. For instance, the Department of Health reported that 44 positions were eliminated due to decreased state revenue and the loss of federal pandemic assistance, with more layoffs expected as budget constraints continue. In total, the Office of Financial Management has reported that 176 employees were laid off during the fiscal year that concluded on June 30, along with an additional 96 employees transitioning to other positions. The situation paints a potentially more daunting picture as lawmakers failed to allocate funding for 1,385 full-time equivalent roles in the current budget, indicating further job losses may loom. Yastremski commented on the inevitability of these downturns, noting that the leaders are attempting to soften the blow by keeping certain positions vacant to help cushion the impacts. Nonetheless, he affirmed, you can't get away without some folks getting harmed. Additionally, to support affected state workers, Washington's Employment Security Department has initiated a series of webinars aimed at informing those who are laid off, furloughed, or facing cuts about available unemployment benefits and reemployment services. The response has been encouraging, with 400 participants attending the first 3 sessions. The 4th session is set for Tuesday, continuing to provide resources for those navigating this challenging situation. How do you feel about the approach being taken regarding these layoffs? Are they justified in the face of funding challenges? Or should alternative solutions be sought? Share your thoughts below.